What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Real Talks with Jakub, where I interview doers, achievers, and go-getters, and how they created their own luck and became successful. And today we are here with Gina Riley from Portland, Oregon. Gina is a career transition coach at Talence Group, where she helps leaders communicate career stories. She shifts her clients' mindset from quick resume fix, in quotes, to help them develop a sustainable professional plan. Gina takes a modern approach by considering the things that crowd our lives, limit our time and attention span, and cause us to neglect our own long-range planning. Her clients range from seasoned executives to those who are just starting out their careers. But that's not all. Gina also helps companies search for experienced executives that will be a perfect culture fit and will help to grow the company long-term. How is she doing all of that? How can she help you to stand out from the crowd, and how to use LinkedIn to attract more opportunities? Keep listening to find out. Welcome to the show, Gina.
Thanks for having me.
So, Gina, you say that, and I quote, you help communicate career stories. Tell me, what is career story?
A career story is a person's unique career arc, how they got from point A to point B. So what happened from the point they chose, what they chose to study in college, all the way through those career transitions to where they got today. And for me, it's very important to help a leader explain that all in a very succinct way so that when they show up by the time they have an interview, that they're able to quickly, explain who they are and, their why, like why I'm here to interview for this job.
So is it something like a elevator pitch?
It is a lot like an elevator pitch. It's a tad bit longer than an elevator pitch because the elevator pitch, really should be just a little bit shorter and succinct. And an elevator pitch almost could be something that's your LinkedIn headline or the first sentence in your about summary. The story, though, for someone who's got 25 years of experience, it's a little more than 2 minutes.
And usually you probably say career story when you have time to say career story, so on interviews and so on, right?
Exactly. It's the kind of thing that you would answer when someone's, is maybe moderately prepared to interview and they start with, so tell me about yourself, right? That dreaded. So maybe the person really is just trying to get you warmed up in the interview, but what I'm saying for career story is you need to be prepared to just jump in and say, let me tell you kind of the origins of, where I knew I wanted to become a leader, in an organization, and then going through that story arc.
Now let me let me challenge you a little, because I usually want to explore the background of my guests, and I want to challenge you to tell me your career story. So we'll know about your background, and at the same time, you will show me how actually a career story look like.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. And I'm actually working with a CEO client right now too, and I could almost do his for you as well. Just to two different ones. So for me, how I got to today in my career is the origins was when I was 15 or 16 years old, and I got selected to be the single representative from my high school to go to a leadership seminar for a full weekend. And it was really that spark that ignited the excitement I have for people development. So at 15, I went to something, and at 16, I was involved with a multi-school leadership sort of seminar with 3 of our neighboring high schools. And we were being taught relationship and communication skills by top athletes around the country that had this program called All Stars. I loved it so much that I applied for and got an opportunity to be a leader, a student leader, in the subsequent years. And then I took all that learning into college with me, and I originated and ran programs around leadership and communication skills, and actually got people to pay to go to those programs. I worked summers doing similar types of work. And what that was the spark for me to choose organizational communication. So I was really understanding how people work and relate inside of companies and what those dynamics were. And then that led to my career into HR. So human resources, doing staffing, recruiting. And then ultimately, I wanted to really up my game. I got a master's degree in whole systems design, which is basically organizational development and consulting. And I got to sit beside, vice presidents at Intel and be their business partner, helping coach them and their teams on how to develop their leadership capabilities and their people's leadership capabilities. And then I also ran training and development programs for Intel as well. I got certified in many different kinds of training programs, and all of those things coming together is what I bring to my role today. I do executive search for Talence Group. That's one part of what I do. I built a career coaching or career transition program for leaders who are in transition and need to explain the value that they bring. And then the third thing I do for Talence Group is I've taken all of my interviewing training skills and I've helped develop an actual training program for our client companies. We go in and we do a 6-hour training where we teach them how to craft effective questions so that they're asking the right questions when we're bringing those great candidates to them. And they're not doing, so tell me about yourself. We want them asking questions about the behavioral and leadership capabilities so that they make the right selection, because we want to get it right, the first time. So that's a little bit about how I got from, the origins of where I am today to now.
Well, so this is definitely longer than 1 minute, 1 minute elevator pitch.
It is.
So if you would open like this on an interview, on a job interview, or your clients open with this similar story or with their own story on interview, does it position you one level higher than other candidates if you have it structured like this?
Yes, I think if you're prepared to kind of explain the who you are kind of piece and not go in and ramble and choose the wrong thing to talk about, that it already sets you apart. So, if someone's saying, so tell me a little about yourself, I would actually say, let me just tell you a bit about my career arc so that you understand why I'm sitting here today and why I'm excited about this opportunity.
Yes. So,
and one thing is, if you're answering the wrong things, or if you're kind of going down the path and you can see their attention is waning, stop and ask them what they want to know about.
So it's a lot about asking the questions too, not only like answering like robot, right?
Absolutely.
So how do I create my own career story?
So the way that I help my clients get there is we start with the internal. We start with their core strengths. We use Clifton Strengths Finder. I use the UMAP tool to get after all of this. So we do strengths, we do their core values. What are the values that they have that they will not stray from, or the things that would rub them the wrong way if they found a values mismatch with a company that they join. Their motivated skills, the things they love to do on the job, because that's what they're going to be talking about when they, show up for the interview. And also a little bit about their personality, that, just a little bit about who they are. So we start with that, and we really define and help them articulate what that is. Then we move into what you were asking is their career chronology. So I give them a document where they have to start journaling out all those career transitions and all the results that they got along the way. And then I do a discovery interview, and we spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on the phone. And I start getting out all those details. And then we infuse the who they are from the first part of my coaching program into that story. And so I'm able to reflect back, because I've already been getting to know them a little bit. Like, oh, I can see why you made that choice. It's because of that value you have, or it's because of that strength that you have. And the hybrid of who they are, those top 5 core strengths, that's how they're going to show up as a leader. So I'm helping them explain, not just like, I know how to improve revenue, I know how to, transform your company brand. I'm helping them explain how they're going to do that with a team.
I like what you did in your career story, because you did what you just described, which was pretty much gluing together that you were passionate about leadership and people development from like 15 years old. And you created this coherent story out of it, which where everything makes sense together. So this is something that you help to explore your clients based on the questionnaire, on the in-depth calls, and so
Exactly. I'm so glad you noticed that. Good. I'm doing my job.
on. Is this usable only for executives, or do you think that like a regular position, if I would be applying for regular position, not like C-level executive positions, I should be working on my career stories and crafting these stories?
Yes, yes, yes. I am using the same methodology with my own teenage sons,
Okay.
17 and 19 years old. So my 17-year-old applied to colleges this year. We used the UMAP process to extract the language he used in his college essays, because
Mhm.
those colleges are asking, why would we choose you? What are you going to bring to our university? Doesn't that sound like a company interview as well? So he was able to say, based on these core strengths I have and the values I have, this is how I'm going to show up when I get to your college. And then my 19-year-old will be using that in his career story when he
Mhm.
applies to internships. So
That's
you
interesting.
absolutely can use this your
Uh-huh.
whole entire life. It's a methodology I totally believe in.
Mhm. Before we jump into how you help companies search for executives that are actually cultural fit as well, I want to hear the career story of a CEO you're working with, if you can share it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm gonna do it in a way that I'm not, name dropping the
Sure.
companies and, the personal identifiers. But for the individual I'm working with right now, incredible story. So the first thing that I started to uncover was, and if I was living in his skin telling part of his story, you know, my leadership capabilities really germinated from the time I was in college, when I had the most amazing mentors when I was the quarterback for my state football team. And I was on that team for 4 years, and I, I really grew as a person. And I also earned an award and was voted the most, fill in the blank, because
Yes.
he got an award. Um, and then my first role out of college was a springboard off of my education, which was a business and marketing degree. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, but I landed a job in a huge company, and I earned myself 9 promotions over 11 years with increasing responsibility until I became a VP in multiple different roles. And one of my former supervisors, he was also a VP, a bigger VP than me in the company, he had moved on to another organization. And he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, "Hey, I want you to come over and transform our 100-year-old brand, because we are not as competitive in the marketplace as we need to be." And so he brought me over because he had already seen the work that I'd done. When I got into that company, I realized, to transform this brand, I have to motivate a 100-year-old culture and team. So I started with my people. I made sure I had the right people in the organization. I had to remove someone from the organization. I strengthened the team. We worked on culture. We worked on shoring up salaries. We worked on our incentive plans. And we galvanized around this 100-year-old brand to where we went from 5 products to 60 products over the course of the time I was there. And then I moved on to another organization. Again, I got tapped on the shoulder to come and transform another brand. And that's kind of in my career arc. I'm a brand builder. I love to transform brands. I love to build teams. And I really love to mentor people to help them be the best that they can be.
Wow. And I think that my reaction I did right now, wow, should be the reaction of the recruiters as well, right?
Gosh, I hope so. I hope so. And the thing is, when executives come to me and they first start working through this, the first thing they ask oftentimes is, "Do you write resumes?"
Hmm.
No, I really don't write other people's resumes. I partner with them to transform their resume based on the story I'm extracting from them. Are they putting the right things in their resume? Right? But really, the power behind all of this is the sustainable way to explain who you are and what you're going to bring to any given organization. Because the truth is, you are me incorporated. You're a business of one, and
Yes.
you have to be able to market yourself that way. You are a product and you are a service.
And I like what you're saying, that you're helping people to move from these quote unquote quick resume fixes, because you are helping them to build the foundation. And then if you know the foundation, then just writing your resume, it's a matter of just a couple of hours maybe, right?
Right. And writing a resume, it's no small feat. I mean, the people that I'm working with will slave and work hours on their resumes, but they have to, because Jacob, when they show up to that interview, if someone else has written that resume for them, they can't speak to it. They don't know what those bullet points say. They don't really, it doesn't live inside of them and in their mouths. They have to show up and be ready to really articulate their value.
Yes.
And they need to do it in a way that promotes like their business plan and their strategy. So that's what I'm helping people do is show up to explain, I come with a strategy. I come with a framework. If you hire me, this is what you can expect. And let me show you from my career results, the proof.
Mm-hmm. Gina, thank you very much for sharing that career story of a CEO. And I would like to move on to another topic, which is how, because you're actually quite good at finding executives who are not only like a skill fit into the company, but also a cultural fit. So they will fit into the culture, and they will be a good addition to a company as a human being. So how do you do it? How do you help this CEO you just told us about? How do you know that this person will be a good cultural fit?
That's the golden question. That's what we're helping our client companies do when we go in and we do a leadership level search. So what we do when we're training people to craft effective questions is we talk about two different kinds of skills. There's the functional technical skills. Do they have the technical capabilities to do a given job? Mm-hmm. The other is the behavioral skills. The behavioral skills are the things that map to the values that organization has. So what we're doing is we're helping, I literally work with those companies to take their values, map it to a lot of the questions that we've developed, which are generally behavioral interview types of questions. Yes. We map those together. So they're asking the questions to get stories out of an executive about how they're going to show up and lead. Does that make sense?
It does. So can you share some success story of a CEO you've found for a company that was a really good cultural fit?
Yeah, and what we do is when we say culture fit, we actually vacillate with the word values fit, because a lot of people get hung up on the word culture, because a lot of times that could mean just hiring in your own likeness. We're going to hire someone that looks like all of the rest of us. And we really promote, you know, having an open mind so that you diversify thoughts and you diversify the kinds of people that you're bringing into your organization. Mm-hmm. So recently, last year, I'm really, really proud of a CEO search that we did. And the final decisions that board of directors made was based on this person's amazing ability to bring people along with him. So they had a culture that had a lot of pain in it. A lot of people were nervous because they'd already been through, I think it was like 8 or 10 CEOs, like over about a decade. It was a lot of churn. So everyone was nervous. Really, really nervous. And it was a really vital position to fill for the community, because they were serving healthcare needs to a vulnerable population. Mm-hmm. With a lot of caring people in that organization. But they kept hiring the same kind of CEO again and again based on resumes. Oh, they worked at a previous organization, looks just like ours. Let's hire them. And then they would fail because they weren't good leaders. The leader that they brought in this time does not have that same background. There was some medical some kind of healthcare touch, but it was a person that had business experience and the tech savvy to transform their processes internally and make all their lives easier when they work, and the human leadership qualities that they needed to listen and bring people along and, navigate the waters of the pain that was happening inside the organization. And we keep hearing today, it's been almost a year, we keep getting emails from the staff. Thank you so much. This person is transformative.
So he's still there.
The best job satisfaction. Yes. Hasn't been quite a year, but I expect this person to literally change the face of healthcare in his space. Oh. I do.
That's amazing. So yeah. How long does this process usually take?
An executive search?
Yes.
An executive search can take anywhere from 3 months to 9 months. It could be longer. It could be up to a year, just depending on the organization, the dynamics that are happening, the decision makers that are involved. The ones that I've been a part of are in that 6-month window.
Yes. Do you sometimes need to win an executive from other company and persuade him or her to come work for your company, for your opportunity?
Sure, absolutely. There's multiple ways that we reach out into our network. I mean, the reason why people hire Talence Group is because of the network that we have. But you cannot rely solely on who's sitting in your back pocket. That is pretty rare that you just reach into your back pocket and go, here's the perfect executive. When we go to market, we're out there tapping people on the shoulders saying, hey, can we talk to you about this? And is it hard to persuade people? If someone doesn't want to leave their job, they're not going to talk to us. We're talking to people that are like, I'm ready for a change. Okay. And really, we never talk people into the job. They need to be a part of the entire process. And we vet people so carefully. We have multiple levels of interviews that we do before they even talk to the organization.
Makes sense. Okay, and there's one other area I would love to discuss, which is LinkedIn. So if I'm actually open for a new position and I would like people to reach out to me, or at least if I will be reaching out to them, or they will be doing some background check on me and they will land on my LinkedIn profile, how does this LinkedIn profile should look like?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of making sure that the top third looks really great. You want to have your own banner that isn't the plain LinkedIn blue, something that might represent your city or your industry. 2, you want to have a decent headshot. You don't have to go pay for a professional to do it. All of our smartphones are perfectly capable of making an excellent image. Just make sure you're not hanging your arm over someone's shoulder and you're cutting that off. And it's not hard. It's not hard, people. Just put a good, clean, not blurry photo where you have an expression on your face that looks inviting and like someone that I would want to call, right? Then the headline, make sure your headline does not say seeking new opportunities, because you're wasting 122 characters when you do that and it looks desperate. You want to have a combination of what you're searched for. So if you're a CEO or a president, you put, CEO, president, and then the rest of the characters, you create a unique value statement. Something about what, leading teams with strategy. I'm making this up. Something that tells me who you are when I see that. Then the first 3 lines in your summary, the about section, you need to have that be inviting. It's first person. A lot of the executives I work with, it's, they haven't looked for a job for a while, so they're a little bit old school and it's very stiff and formal. You want it to be first person, and you need those first 3 lines to really pop and really express your value and what you stand for.
Why first 3 lines?
Those first 3 lines are critical because you want people to click see more. And now they've paused on your page longer than maybe other people. So that's my recommendation. LinkedIn is your free marketing window. It's like window shopping, right?
So when you help these when you help people to land jobs, is LinkedIn something that you help them optimize to?
Oh yeah, LinkedIn is a major, major strategy. So not only are they working, I call it LinkedIn top to bottom. We spend time training on that. I've got a little booklet that they have to read through, and we go through that together. We make sure that, their privacy settings are off, so all their network isn't getting notified on everything they change. I want them to go out and solicit fresh, modern recommendations that talk to their value. And I also want them giving recommendations to people that they can authentically also give. So give to get, very important. And then I'm a huge proponent of connecting with people that you don't know and sending personalized connection requests and just inviting conversation, not asking for a job. Just, hey, John, I just read this article in Forbes magazine that you wrote. I want to follow you because your work is really inspiring. It's not hard.
And it's really about implementing this routine, right, into your day.
Yes, these are the habits that I talk about. And I do it naturally now. I've been doing it now for a couple of years. As soon as I read something, unless there's someone who has like 30,000 followers and you can't connect with them anymore, there's no reason not to connect with people and let them know that you've been inspired by their work. And then now you're going to get more of their things in your feed, and you're going to get the things that you want to see. And then you never know, maybe you need to circle back and ask them a question someday. It's a ripple effect. It's 3 degrees of separation inside of LinkedIn. And you want to have a vast network, because when recruiters are finding you, it's based on that 3 degrees of separation.
I mean, if you don't ask, the answer will be always no.
That's totally true. That's totally true. But one thing I really dislike, and there's differing opinions, is I do not like getting just the connection request that's without a personalized note, because I'm really curious why someone selected me to connect with. Gina, I read an article that you wrote. It was terrific. Or, oh, I heard you on a podcast. It was great. Can I follow you? And if you don't want to connect with someone personally, just click follow. Now you'll still get their stuff in your feed.
What I also do is that when people connect with me and they don't add any like personalized note there, I will accept this connection request, and I will reach out to them and ask, hey, thanks a lot for connecting. What made you to send that request to me? Anything specific, or you just want to stay in touch?
Yeah.
And most of them will reply, and we start a conversation. And I mean, that's how we got on this podcast. I added you on LinkedIn profile. We started talking. I think that I wanted to sell you something, and then we ended up here, and we're talking about how you help people, and that's about like connecting with right people and creating these opportunities for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never really know where a relationship is going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there was something about, I'd have to go back and look at our exchange, but there was something about whatever you did that was inviting and kind and warm. I'm sure like you, I get lots of those, inbound requests from people that want to enhance my marketing and my sales funnel without any warm up whatsoever. And they don't know if I need a funnel.
And the best part is that if they don't even use like your first name, that's the least personalization you can do. But sometimes people don't do that either.
Yeah, I've had some weird ones. It's hard some days not to feel really sarcastic about it. I try to be really professional, but some days I just want to say something not nice.
Or just send some GIF like, really? Gina, I always want to wrap these interviews with something very actionable. So if there's someone who is looking for new opportunities, there may be an executive in a company and they want some new adventure in their life. What would be your like number one advice they can apply today or tomorrow or maybe next week, but something actionable that they can do so people and these recruiters will start reaching out to them?
So to be really seen and sought after, you do need to scrub up your LinkedIn profile. That's probably the easiest thing to do. But in order to do that, you do have to do some of that self-assessment work. You need to really look at like what you stand for as a leader and have that shine through and not look old and stale. So if you're going to be sought after, you have to make sure you have keywords all throughout your profile. So it needs to be reflective of what I would be searching for, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm looking for a CEO in the, manufacturing or wood products industry, that better be peppered all the way throughout, from the headline to the about summary and throughout the whole entire profile. But really, my number one piece of advice is you have to consistently network with people. You have to nurture your relationships. I'm forgetting who said it. It might be Bob Berg. There's the ABCs of networking. Always be connecting. And do it in an authentic way so it's natural and it doesn't feel like you're desperate when you're out of a job.
ABC, always be connecting. There's advice from 80s sales advice, ABC, always be closing, which is
right.
which is not very relevant right now at the social selling age. But these are great advice, Gina. So first one, optimize your LinkedIn profile after you do some background work on who you really are, what your values are, and most importantly, what you want to be searched for. And second, network consistently. Just implement this routine into your day. Just a couple of minutes, connect with some people in a personalized manner, and you should create these opportunities for you over time.
Absolutely.
So Gina, thank you very much. Last question: if people want to know a little bit more about you, they want to hire you, where they can do that?
Yes, thank you. The Talence Group website, we've got a coaching page where it outlines a little bit about what I do, and we've got a place to reach out to me. You can reach out to me through LinkedIn. Please send a personalized connection request that you heard me on Jakub's podcast, and those are two great ways to reach me.
Perfect. So either Talence website, what is the URL, please?
It's Talence Group, TalenceGroup.com.
Or on LinkedIn.
Or on LinkedIn, Gina Riley. Yes.
Perfect. Gina, thank you very much for coming to Real Talks with Jakub.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And guys, please, if we shared some value with you, just grab a link if you're watching this on YouTube, share it with your friends, share it on LinkedIn or on Facebook, or if you're listening to this on some podcast platform, just take a screenshot and do the same. So Gina, thanks a lot again. It was amazing discussion. It's actually last podcast in about 2 months because I need to take a break to promote all the podcasts I've created, and then I'm starting season 3. So it's a beautiful ending of season 2.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
So yeah, thank you very much, and guys, till next time.